talk, what have you, and this two kids, they never, I mean, the waiter came over and some of the food kept going back and back and back because the kids were never satisfied with whatever it was. It wasn't done enough, or it was too done, or this, and in the meantime, on their cell phones all the time. And I went over. I'm not kidding. The other line. I went over. I took the cell phones out of their hands, and the people were just, dumbfounded that I would do such a thing. I gave it to them, assuming that it was the mothers and fathers, and I said, I don't know about you people. The other line, please. The other line. Okay, there's so many lines and so many phones in this house.
It's okay.
I feel like the Edison Company. Anyway, I said, it may not disturb you, but it disturbs my dinner. And at these prices, I don't like to be disturbed. And these kids just looked at me. And the woman looked at me, but the husband said, I'm so glad somebody finally did that. It was amazing. I couldn't stand it because the kids never looked up to the waiter or waitress. They just looked at food. And I thought, there's no conversation anymore.
Right.
And I watched the rudeness go as long as I could. If it was one of my grandkids, I want to tell you, their heads would have been upside the wall. And they know that.
Yeah.
They know that. That's one of the rules. Go out to dinner. You either leave those things at home or don't pick them up.
Right.
And nothing
That's a good rule.
Oh yeah,
very good rule. And I guarantee you, they will always think about that every time. From that point forward, I'm sure they've thought about that every time.
Every time they go out to dinner.
Probably every time in general too. I would think, just consciously aware. So.
Well, yeah, but it's such a shame that you have to shock someone into knowing the right thing to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is amazing. The art of conversation. The art of conversation is almost lost.
Oh yeah.
Hey, pray God that nobody loses their phones. They wouldn't be able to talk to one another. Constantly pounding out the keys on their cell. Think about it.
Right.
So,
I know. My children will text me from another room instead of getting up to come to me and talk to me. They'll text me from another room.
Well, how would you like this? Cross any street in Beverly Hills, and you'll find two people texting one another, and they're walking. They're
standing
together.
side by side. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is that hysterical?
Yeah.
I've seen this with my own eyes.
I know.
I text, and all of a sudden the next person next to them is laughing hysterically, and texts back, and the other person laughs hysterically.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there was a time that you'd wrap those people up and send them to a place to get well. But that's a great example. I'll tell you, here's the greatest example I know of. I was in Canada during an event, and I saw this rag doll. It was so perfect. It's so perfect. And I thought, oh, my God, that reminds me of my granddaughter, Sarah. And I got it, and I brought it home. And I took it over to her, and I gave it to her. And I said, here, Sarah, this is for you. And she said, oh, thank you, Grandma. She's a tiny thing, really. She's water tiny, for God's sake. She's 6 years old. And she's lifting up the arms and lifting up the legs. And I said, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't pee-pee. It doesn't cry. It doesn't say mama. It does not talk. It doesn't do anything. She said, oh, it's dead.
Oh,
I said, yeah.
No.
It's dead. I said, yeah, it's dead. So she called it her dead doll.
Oh, no.
And she shared it with all of her friends, and they call that doll the dead doll. It's a Raggedy Ann doll.
Oh.
They call it Dee Dee for short. And Dee Dee is in on all of the games they play or what have you. The dead doll sits there and does nothing and watches.
She's the silent one.
Absolutely. She's the only smart one in the group.
Yeah, she's the one that's just taking notes, just kind of taking it all in, and
Would that be marvelous?
I know, really.
Wouldn't it be marvelous if it finally did speak up and said, "I'm taking notes"?
That's right. I saw what you did yesterday, kind of thing. It's kind of like the elf on the shelf. That little elf thing that you're seeing all over the place. And,
oh God, yeah.
It's hilarious. So he has a life of his own. But yeah. No. Better yet, if my children had said that to me, if one of my daughters had said that to me, that's what I would have said. Take it outside and find something to do. In other words, make it come alive.
Yeah, right.
So.
Find something. Go outside and revive it.
Yeah, that's right.
Go outside and teach it something.
And when you bring it back in, we want it. It needs to be doing something besides being dead. Oh gosh. You have done.
You go outside and you better stay long enough until that doll talks.
Exactly.
And you'd be looking for them after 8 hours. So.
Hey, it's a no-win situation.
Right.
But anyway, they loved that doll. I mean, the girls treated it with far more respect than the rest of their toys because it didn't do anything. They had to defend it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you have a lot of wonderful stories, Jeanne, and of course we have to mention your book because Dawn and I both read it, Not Young-Still-Restless. It's an amazing, insightful, interesting book. I mean, I could say so much about it. I just absolutely loved every minute of reading that book. And believe me, it flew by. It's definitely a page-turner.
Yeah. Well, I tried. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say that in there you mentioned that you didn't think that you were going to be playing the role more than 3 years. You didn't even know how you were going to get through the 3 years when you signed your first contract for Y&R.
Exactly. Yeah.
What keeps you playing Katherine after all this time?
What?
What keeps you playing Katherine after all this time?
Oh, I think I just created the other person, and it's like a twin, to me at this time. It's also it's a base to keep in touch with just tons and tons of people that was never ever been able to. I've seen thousands of people since I accepted doing that role, and I think I have a far better perspective than most politicians of people across this country. And it grounds me. It keeps me grounded. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It keeps me grounded with the people who live out there. Otherwise, were I not doing that part, you and I would not be laughing this morning, or my morning and your afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's the many perks that it's given me, and as I say in the book isn't just about Y&R. There's
right.
Even that's a storytelling kind of thing rather than, go into behind the scenes. There's a little bit of that, but the book has to do with, my beliefs, which you read, and what I think matters, and for me and my countrymen, I got to express myself and let a lot of stuff out, stuff that some people never suspected. And, I guess I was talking to Lindsay, who helped co-write, who is such a brilliant writer. Yeah. To take everything I had to say and put it together in the right way is a great talent, but it does express me and who I am and what I believe in and what has happened in my life that mandates that course take its course. And I think basically I just wanted people to take fear out of their lives. Things are going to happen, but you add fear to it, and everything is 10 times greater.
Right.
And that is to put people in afraid of to do, afraid of to hear, afraid of to go. A fear of doing this or a fear of standing up for themselves because it's induced by a different level than where the person is at. To me, that's a form of slavery.
Exactly.
And people don't perform their best under a fear
Absolutely
for themselves. They really don't. You know, if somebody gets a bill in the mail and they're going to threaten, they don't realize that 30,000 of those letters went out to other people saying the same thing. You know, and it's. I guess it expresses in the book expresses that. You know, it's like I guess you are all too young to know. There used to be a thing called the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Oh, I remember.
Hey, man, you open that up and you go right straight to the kids' nurse's costume, doctor costume, bicycles, dolls, you know, and that was our wish book.
Yes.
A wish book. Now, you knew you couldn't have everything in there that you would like your mom and dad to order, but by the same token, you say, I wish, I want. But the thing is, we were also taught, what do we need? What we want, what we wish, what we want isn't necessarily what we need.
Exactly.
And that wishing beyond what you need gets out of hand, and all of a sudden you're into fear, and you're into slavery, mental slavery.
Yeah.
They all roll right into that. Yes, exactly.
Okay. It's somebody, you know, somebody pays off a big debt. It's like a mountain was relieved from their shoulders, but it took, you know, they had to get into debt. Now, certain things cause people to take certain actions, but if they knew everything that's available to them, they wouldn't go that fast into imprisonment of that overspend over whatever. The old thing, moderation, you know. And,
yes.
But however, you're
in everything.
Well, darlings, you're marketed right into poverty if you follow what you're told to do.
Yeah.
You know? It's just fine that they have a new thing out on your laptop or on your iPhone, whatever it may be. That's good. If you can afford it, fantastic. If you can't, then find a way that you can afford it. That doesn't mean kill somebody or rob a bank. But, you know, it's like taking time for yourself, and I've got news. I don't care who you are or what you do. You can arrange for at least an hour for yourself every day. If that's like saying, I told you to go outside and play and think of No, I'm not going to go to lunch with you. You have to. No is the greatest yes you can give. No is the greatest yes you can give to yourself ever. Being selective.
I agree with that.
But, you know, hey, listen, you've been there. You still do it, so do I every once in a while. Then I could kick myself. I was supposed to go to something Saturday, and I said, no. I felt so good. Now, what I did do was sit before my fireplace and get a couple of things done when I could have been socializing and laughing at things that aren't funny, which I find as older I get is hard to do. When something ain't funny, it ain't funny. It's harder to smile at times over a situation that you'd like to stick your toe to the bottom of somebody. And it's trying to really get the most out of your life, of you, because you're a miracle to begin with. You know, think about it. You know, look at the bugs that are crawling around on the ground. I'd rather be who I am than one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can still step on us, so that's what I'm saying. You know,
right?
I'd still rather be me than one of the bugs. But they're called run for your life. And people are stepping on us. But see, we allow it. Those poor bugs don't have a chance.
Exactly.
They would rather go outside and find someone to play with.
Oh, no. That's so very true.
It's true. It's true.
Extremely true. Now, the thing that I loved the most about your book was as I was reading it, Jeanne, I felt like you were sitting in front of me telling your story.
Yeah,
and the personalization of the book was just incredible, and it was just so meaningful for me to just read it. You know, because it really did read like you were right there. And
that's what
you know,
everyone says.
Yeah, and as I was reading it, you know, I realized how candid you were in writing the book, and when you were done and you read it, did you ever feel the need to edit it and not share all of the